Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantel Francis, coming live from Cancun. And with
Woo!
me is Michelle. How are you doing, Michelle? In
I'm
Toronto.
good. I'm a little under the weather today, but we got to see Cara Maria, so it's a good day.
It's a good
Sort
day.
of.
And, you know, I kind of like, there's so many Cara Maria, like, super fans. And not that I'm like, she's grown on me. I really enjoyed her this episode. A lot of her this episode. I think she brought something, but like I just kind of laugh a little bit at all the Cara Maria fans are like, oh my god, she's like the beast of greatest of all time, and like they kind of got humbled.
I mean, yeah, yes and no, but I want to talk about it because I also feel like it's humbled, yes, but like when has Cara ever done well on a puzzle? Like that's never been her thing ever. So once again, it's repeating the same pattern. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not I used to not like her that much, but I've really been thirsting for any kind of entertainment. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was an entertaining episode. There's a lot went down.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, starting off with Raven being happy that she beat a champ, but she's still mad at James and Mariah. And like, I get it. Like, you're going to be a little bit upset if like people that you think you're working with don't support you. But like, she's done the same thing so many times where it's like, well, everybody else is voting for somebody, so like, I'm just going to throw my vote on that person. So the fact that she's still holding a bit of a grudge to James and Mariah is just a little bit annoying because they had the opportunity to take control of the game like 6 eliminations ago, and now she's blaming James and Mariah for going with the group, you know?
Exactly. And like, you're not making a difference by going after them. The difference is if you go after the actual core. And I know Mariah is part of the core for sure, but like, she's not Olivia Nerys Michelle. She's not Jay, right? Like, these people are much more because like we know once it gets down to it they're going to turn on Mariah and Jay, like James. So she's really like, that doesn't fill me with hope that she'll work with Zara and them to actually go against like the main people if she's still mad at Mariah and James. Like, I don't know. James is someone that you can use on your side for now. He's never going to beat you in a final. He doesn't have the endurance.
Exactly.
So why not take him to the end, work with Mariah, who's strong? But again, Mariah hasn't necessarily shown that she could win a final yet. Maybe she could. Like, maybe she could. But still, like, I'd be happier to go with that than to go with other options like Horacio and like, I don't know.
So Michelle thinks that it's a victory that Raven came back and that Laurel lost. How like underwhelming was it? You know, like the fact that like we didn't get the Laurel versus Michelle, and then now Michelle gets to be like, it's a win.
She just annoyed me to no end this episode, and it was like it's to the point where she annoys me when she's being like meek and like, oh, and then she annoys me when she's being hypocritical and like, well, fuck you. And she annoys me when she's being like, well, I'm confident, honey. Like, I'm like, I don't believe any of those things. I don't think
Who is
any of them
Michelle
are really
really?
her. Who is she really? Because to me it's like I try so hard to ride for her. I didn't like, obviously, first season of Survivor, she gets a lot of hate for like winning that season.
I mean, we wanted
And then,
Aubrey to win, right?
yeah, of course, come on, iconic. And then, we've got her on Winners at War. Once again, she never got voted out. And I respected her game a little bit more. I was like, okay, well, if you're going in that direction, she's doing it well. Always kind of, being
Well,
at the
it's like that
bottom.
desperate underdog victim.
Yes, but the moment that kind of person isn't an underdog, you realize that there's nothing to really like support them from. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to say, because it's like you think about someone like CT. He was at the bottom of like strategy wise back in the day, right? Like, but people were scared to throw him in because he was big, but like but then he had the physical prowess, but then also like he's someone that had the charm that we wanted to watch. So I'm just missing that from her. And I don't know. I think I'm more annoyed with Jay than with Michelle. If I think, but
Man,
I don't
it's a
know.
toss
It's
up.
hard
Like,
to
what's
say.
the
It's a
percentage here? Out of
yeah. I
100, how much are you annoyed with Jay and how much are you annoyed with Michelle?
exactly. It's maybe
I think
60-40.
I'm
I don't know.
I think I'm more annoyed with Jay than Michelle after
Yeah.
this episode, to
Yes.
be honest.
Like the audacity of this man who has never made it past this point. This is the furthest she's
which he addresses in the episode.
Yes, and like fair, but like, oh, I just can't. And then it's like Aesop, who I also am just like, I can't stand you. There's so many people I can't stand. Sorry. It's just really, it was a difficult episode. Perhaps I was in a bad mood, but I was just like, oh.
Yeah, it was a frustrating episode, but I thought it was probably the best episode of the season, and we didn't even get a club scene. Like, it was just, at least it was interesting, right? Like, seeing people do something and you know, having Cara in the end come at, like, it was just, there's just stuff was happening. It wasn't just boring, for the most part. I mean, it was pretty predictable still, but at least people were talking some game, at least.
Yeah. And there were some interesting things. Yes. Like, you know, Colleen or whatever, it's like, I appreciate some of the things she's saying are like real things and conversations that I want to see happening. Obviously, to no end for her, it's not going to pan out to anything. Because she would have been willing to step back if they were going to throw Raven in again. You know what I mean? She'd be like, "Oh, my alliance is here to support me." It's like she's missing the piece that she's not actually part of the alliance. They've convinced her, but she's such bottom tier. She's not even in the conversation for them. So it's like she's saying, "Oh, this alliance doesn't make any sense." I'm like, "Yeah, because you're not really you're at the bottom of it."
You're not
and they've been using you, and you're now kind of realizing it sort of, but like, oof. She needs to be sneakier and better. What?
You're talking about Colleen, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, it has to be Colleen because as much as like I appreciate her deciding to turn things around and like realize that, like, you know, there's a big power structure that needs to be broken up. Okay, great. Why are you going for Mariah? Why is Mariah the person that you're deciding to focus on? She's not the nucleus. Like, yes, she's being protected by those women. Yes, she has other people outside the alliance that, you know, is making you feel uneasy. Yes, Mariah is gonna. Mariah even said that she's gonna put other people before Berna and Colleen. Like, Mariah's like hiding that, and so, but like, she should be using that as an opportunity to go after the actual power structure and not use it to like break away her numbers, her potential numbers.
Yeah, it's like, very
Colleen
frustrating.
Think that Michelle is going to choose her or Berna over Olivia, over Nerys, over Mariah, over Zaza, over like maybe even Raven. Like, she is at the bottom of everybody with Michelle, and it's wild to me that she's just still going after Mariah. Mariah's not the problem here.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, Jessica's agreeing with me here. Take out some of that will make a difference. Yes. Jeez Louise.
I mean, the one thing I'll say is like clearly Michelle has been able to foster this sort of energy where she comes across unthreatening. She comes across as someone who's personable and that people have those relationships with. And so it's easier to, even though she's so clearly at the heart of everything, I do understand seeing Mariah and being like, well, she's so strong. She looks so physically fit and strong and comes across that way that it seems like a bigger, crazier move to go after someone like that. But that's not true at all. But like, I guess I can kind of see maybe that perspective from her angle. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, of course it looks as though Mariah is the person to get out. But getting Mariah out she has to think about the fact that it's not going to change anything about her positioning, about her being the house vote. Like, none of that's going to change if she gets out Mariah. So that's why I don't think that, like, I don't think that she is that smart, Joanne, just because she should have been making these moves beforehand. That would have been the smarter play when she still had numbers and people that would be able to support her. It's too late, and she still wants to play from the bottom. She still wants to be there.
It's confusing.
So the beginning of Olivia being exposed for being, I don't know, maybe Two-Faced, maybe. Go ahead.
No, go. Tell the story first, because I saw something on I saw some comments about the Nerys call thing, and so I don't know if it's true, but
Okay, so good. Okay, so let's. Okay, so first, Olivia said that she wants to be more than just her and Horacio. So we see the beginning of her feeling as though she's talking to Jay, I believe, and just being like, like it was me and Horacio, but Horacio, she was feeling as though Horacio was keeping her afloat physically. But then Jay was kind of saying like, no, like you held your own. Like people didn't throw you. Like people protected you more because of you, and you got to the final because of your social skills, Olivia. And so like you guys really needed each other. Okay, cool. I was kind of saying that like Horacio was the heavy hitter, like the heavyweight over there, but of their relationship. But you know what? Olivia did do something and socially. And so she's feeling now though, like, what do you think is she's doing? What do you think?
Olivia?
Yeah.
Well, she did say at one point within the like weird conversation with Nerys, she was like, and then he doesn't even tell me he's coming on. So like he didn't tell her he was coming on the season.
Okay.
And
But this
to
is one
me,
thing though,
yeah.
when I think about him not telling her about the season, is that I feel like he's a rule follower. I feel like, if producers are like, don't tell anybody that you're coming on this season, or it's just going to jeopardize you getting on the show. Like if this gets leaked,
But everyone knows that everyone talks for the challenge. But also,
like,
I would.
He's not like he is not in the social media world, the clicky world, the pre-gaming world that Olivia is in. Like I think she basically is saying that she wishes that Horacio had pre-gamed with her.
Yeah, I would be curious to know whether he told anybody. Because I agree with you, he does seem like a rule follower. And if he didn't tell anybody and just showed up, okay, that's a non-factor. That's a non-factor. He's still
did
saying
he tell other people? Because that was
we don't know. That's what I'm saying is we don't know. So that would be a question I would have. It seems that she is very much, it's a combination. It seems like she feels probably unwanted based on like the guy situation that's happening. She sees Nerys, who like, has her ride or die. Obviously, Olivia and Horacio, something mildly must have happened at some point. We used to back before, like there were some Instagram stories of stuff of hand holding and stuff. And I'm not saying they dated, but I'm just saying like there obviously was some sort of rapport, and there's some jealousy there, and
some jealousy.
Yeah, and it's like that sort of manipulation tactic she's trying to do, where she's trying to discredit him to Nerys, so that Nerys feels worse about being with him or whatever. And it's not a good look. And if you, it's just not a good look. And she's trying to make her jealous. Oh, she's with Zara. He's hanging out with Zara, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't know. It was cringe scene to watch. Honestly, it was cringe.
Cringe. So before we go to that scene, we do see Nerys talking to Kyland, and I didn't know that Nerys was going to be protecting Kyland and working with Kyland from before the season started. So I was like, okay, that's interesting that they have such a strong bond, and it could be through Horacio, or maybe just being involved in like the new era of these reality stars. But they want to work together. And what I like about Nerys is that she has all these. She does what Michelle does, just a little bit better, right?
Yes.
She is tied to almost everyone, and everybody still feels comfortable telling her information. Like Kyland shouldn't feel comfortable telling her information, but she is like a vault, and she uses that information for her own benefit, I believe, because she hasn't. I haven't seen her tell, and like Michelle, like Asaf does. So, Asaf goes and like tells everything that he hears to the group. Like we don't see Nerys doing that, which I really, really like.
Because the weird thing is, she has her thing with Asaf and Jay and Michelle. Then she has Olivia, and then she has
Mariah is even in there.
Mariah, and then she has Kyland. I just think, okay, like what happens when James is gone and when Ed is gone? Who are you voting in? That's my only question. But she's doing better than Michelle right now. I think she's coming across better for sure.
Yeah, I think that I just feel that she can get out of it better than Michelle.
Yeah, definitely. Like, okay, so someone's saying here that Nerys said on Twitter that Horacio didn't tell anyone. So yeah, that's a non-factor then. He didn't tell anybody.
Olivia. It's so frustrating. So then we see the conversation that you're talking about over the phone. So we see a Skype call with Nerys, with her family, and her family says that Olivia was talking mad shit about her, saying that she's broke and probably some other stuff. Now, how do you feel, firstly, about this being kind of interference into the game from the outside world? Um, you know, like, do you think that that's fair that they were able to share stuff with Nerys? And then also, what did you learn more about that situation?
I don't think it was fair because no one else really gets that kind of stuff. So I didn't love it, but I'm fine with outside drama being brought in every once in a while. But it just goes to show, like, she clearly already felt a type of way, because if you felt so confident that you're crying, you loved this girl so much, you hear one rumor, you don't even know the source, and you're not gonna go to your best friend, or like you're such close friends, you don't feel comfortable going to her and say, hey, this is what I heard. You're keeping it to yourself. And I get that she's trying to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep this information, I'm gonna watch her and I'm gonna see. And then but then it's bias. Everything you see is going to make you convince you that yes, she did say those things, because she's being shitty right now, Olivia. And so she's being, okay, this justifies, that means she did say that. But I don't think she did. According to people's comments, it was Anissa that spread this rumor. Which, I mean, makes sense with Anissa's vibes,
Why
but
is
I don't know.
Anissa involved? Where
I have no idea, but that's what people are saying.
So Anissa
Either way,
is
but
the one that's telling people that Nerys is broke.
not telling people that Nerys is broke, telling a family member or a friend that told someone that Olivia was talking shit and saying those
Oh,
types of things. So she's not saying
but
Nerys
you
is
know what
broke.
though?
She's what?
I could also see it being true and Anissa being messy. Because
Right.
I can see Olivia doing this, to be honest. Like it's kind of like it's kind of how she's been operating since she's kind of entered the scene. And so
Yeah, like maybe she
I
said something off the cuff when she was partying with Anissa, and then Anissa kind of used that and was like, yo,
yeah,
she said this.
maybe it was skewed a little bit. Maybe she's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nerys, like whatever, she's broke. I pay for everything whenever we go out. Maybe she said something like that.
Yeah, like I feel like if anything, she said a side comment, but Olivia does that a lot where she'll say like random things, and it's like, you got to be careful because people are going to construe that. And every time it gets passed to a next person, it's going to sound worse, you know?
So Willie here is saying Anissa's trying to get involved in causing drama in the house, even though she's not in the game, right? Well, I think she's trying to. Well, it seemed. Well, I guess she doesn't want to work with Olivia, right?
Like,
Because why would you go and rat Olivia out? And I thought Olivia was in with the Vacation Alliance. I thought that she was more in with them.
yeah, I think she is. I don't think Anissa's fully part of that anymore, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that, or I think Anissa happened to be hanging, partying with some of those people, and then drunkenly, was having conversation. Oh, you're related to Nerys. Oh, well, I heard this, and it was just kind of talking shit to talk shit. Maybe she didn't actually have an ulterior motive. Maybe it was just Anissa being like, oh, we're talking, and then it kind of became something. Or maybe she has it out for Olivia for whatever reason. Regardless, obviously, Olivia's behavior in this episode is not cute regardless. It's cringe anyways. It doesn't matter whether she said it or not. She's still being not a great friend. So it doesn't really matter to me, but it's definitely fueling the fire for Nerys, because now anything Olivia says, she's going to be like, oh, even worse.
MV's here saying that Anissa apparently was rude when she met Olivia for the first time.
Mhm.
Shocking. Definitely not shocking. I know that you're being sarcastic, but like, I want to know what she said, like, or how that meeting went down. I think the issue is Olivia, as much as she acts like she's super nice and she's a girl's girl, I don't trust her. And I think that people get that vibe around her. And like, it's like I think that Nerys probably got that vibe from her, and I do think it was a confirmation bias with like her family saying that, and she's like, I've already been feeling a type of way about her. And then later on the episode, we see Nerys, Michelle, and Olivia talking, and then who the F is Olivia to say to Nerys, use your brain? What did that even mean?
It was just very like, my opinion, This might be controversial.
Ooh.
After seeing the scene with Jay and Olivia where he was like, no, blah, 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 and like he was kind of reassuring her, I don't know. I sort of feel like she's her own person, Olivia. She can make her own decisions. She obviously is choosing to be the way she's being. But I also kind of feel like, yeah, there's a lack of authenticity, but I feel like she's in a way also been a little bit persuaded maybe by people like Jay who are gassing her up and telling her, you don't need Horacio. He's this. He's done this to you. He's not great, because they're afraid of being against Horacio in the end, which is clear. They don't want to go against him. They think he's perfect to win a final. And she also obviously doesn't necessarily want to go against him either. And so I think
she knows she can't beat him because he's physically,
of course not
adept than she is.
And I just think that
so
like,
you think that, so Matthew, what he was feeling was that
mm-hmm.
she was building her reason and her rationale behind eventually going after Horacio. So she's just kind of laying the groundwork here.
Yeah, and maybe she's only semi-aware of all of it, of what she's doing, but like she does feel very calculated, and it doesn't feel super authentic, which is so weird because she felt so authentic last season. I guess she got a really good edit. I don't know what the tea is there, because obviously you've told me stuff about Love Island. So I'm like, clearly they edited her a certain way last season, probably because, you know, the ending was so traumatic. I don't know. I just had way more hope for her than what's happening. But I do think she is getting influenced by like that conversation with Jay. Like at the end, she was like, yeah, you're right. Fully. Yeah, I don't need him. Like I shouldn't be supporting him. Meanwhile, you've got Horacio being like, I will never say Olivia's name.
And I guarantee when they do that side screen with like Horacio being like, I love Olivia, like I'm never gonna throw her in, like I'm never gonna say her name, like she's my ride or die. And he's talking about this with Zaza, that and Olivia is throwing their friendship under the bus to prove her case here. And like Horacio likes working out, and so does Zara. Like that, like that's it. And like you're not that type of girl, Olivia. So like,
and also he said, Horacio said, I will never say her name, but we're not working with the same people. Some of the people she's working with, I'm not working with. Jay, Michelle, he's not working with them. And he didn't make any alliances before coming in. He owes nothing to the people that Olivia is working with. He only owes anything to her if they're friends and they want to support each other and whatever. Great. He's never going to say her name, but that does not mean he needs to support the people that she's supporting. Like that is, I think, where she's going wrong. She's being like, okay, he's against me, but that's not true at all. He's against the people that you're working with, and not even all of them, only some of them. He's fine with Nerys.
Mm-hmm. So Sedani here is saying that Raven said on the Challenge podcast that Olivia didn't really start working out in the house until over half the season, not taking the actual challenges that seriously. So maybe she was just feeling like less than. And like she was really like gassed up in her first season because her and Horacio were just like this unbeatable team. And she's probably just feeling alone. Like what does she have to really offer here? She's just kind of like part of the numbers in the big alliance, but like she's not the star.
And she doesn't have a love story.
And oh my God, I think she definitely is jelly over anybody that has a male companion on the season.
Mm-hmm. That's involved. That's for sure. Yeah, definitely insecurity and falseness.
So Olivia doesn't think that maybe her and Horacio are meant to be friends. And I'm like, hopefully not, because the type of friendship that she seems to offer wouldn't be my pick. Like I wouldn't choose her to be my friend.
Yeah.
So we get to the daily. It's called We All Fall Down, and they're on a 30-foot tower. There's going to be 2 teams of 4 going against each other. Well, there's 4 teams in total and 2 teams at a time. And then there's going to be a winner's bracket for the actual win. So basically there's like a wall, and each of the teams have to stand on each side of the wall, and they have to push this rotating wall and push their opponents off of it. What do you think of this daily?
I found it to be meh. Yeah, I mean, I was happy that Michelle's team lost, but I just didn't it didn't thrill me personally.
So okay, you're happy that Michelle's team lost. So let me give you the team breakdown.
No, I'm happy that Michelle lost, not that the team lost. I should say that.
Right. Well, I mean, I get it. So Michelle, Mariah, James, and Kyland were one team. Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara. Raven, Jay, Colleen, and Asaf.
Yeah.
And Olivia, Nerys, Corey, and Emmanuel. So Michelle is in a predicament, of course, because the two guys, they're assuming it's going to be a guy's day, and the two guys that are next on their chopping block is James and Kylan. And so when they were having their confessional, how did you feel about the fact that Michelle was getting heated for loosely getting called out for potentially throwing the being in her best?
It's so funny because she literally threw another challenge when she was partnered with Kyland before, and she's being called out for something that she's doing, and people always get the most offensive when they're being called out for something that they've done or are considering doing. Like, she clearly, it was like gaslighting 101. She's like, that they're saying this, like, wow, we're such a strong team. Like, she's trying to make a bit out of it. She's trying to be like strong boss ass queen about it, but it comes across so inauthentic to me, at least. And she was literally considering doing. She's like, I'm in a predicament now. I'm with people that I don't want to necessarily win.
Predicament if there's like a team morale and like rah, you're gonna make
like she's a liar, and it was just like, she doesn't let anyone speak. She's talking over it. She's like, no, this is the tea. She's like giving cult leader. She's giving like what I say goes, and how dare you, like the fact that these people are even questioning me, but you're allowed to question anybody you want. Like, it's giving hypocrisy, and I'm just over her. She has too much power. I don't like her with power, and I'm sorry. Like, there's other people I haven't liked with power as well in the past, and she's just like really just coming across so ick. It's annoying.
So ick, and like, oh, it's just, I want to like Michelle. I want to be like rooting for her, but I guess it's impressive that she has so many relationships. Okay, maybe, but like, it just, the fact that she doesn't really come clean with what she's actually doing, and I don't know, the way that she finesses her power is just distasteful to me, and I'm just like, I don't care that you have control of the house and you're the queen bee. I'm just like, I hope someone takes you out.
Yeah.
So the first group is Michelle's team against Raven, Jay, Colleen, and Asaf. And Michelle's team wins, and so she gets to be like, see, we were I was trying, I wasn't trying to throw it. It's like, well, convenient if you had lost though. Like, of course you're gonna try, and maybe you would just throw the next one, right? The next bracket.
Exactly.
And then the other two teams, so Olivia, Nerys, Corey, and Emmanuel versus Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara. I felt that Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara were going to be the stronger team here. Just because, like, they just have more fight, I believe, than, like, Nerys is quite petite. Actually, all the teams were pretty good, to be honest.
They were pretty balanced. Like, physically speaking, again.
Considering he's like, you guys are standing in your teams right now. What's with that, actually, also?
They obviously have to make them stand a certain way then, because, like, what?
Like, they've already picked their teams and then they pretend like...
But, like, Mariah's been on James's team multiple times now. Like, what are we doing here?
Hold on. Is Natalie coming in with some tea? What's going on?
Okay, tell me what's going on with that. Tell me that's the second comment I've seen.
Dee and Wendell.
What? Is she not dating Austin?
Wait, what? Who's Austin?
From this season of Survivor. Oh, you're talking about Dee from the challenge.
Oh, Dee. Oh, wait. Dee, I thought it was Dee in the challenge. No, maybe Dee from Survivor. That makes
I'm talking about Dee from Survivor.
That makes more sense. But I thought Wendell was in a relationship and just had a baby.
Well, I know Wendell used to date Michelle back in the day.
Yeah, we know that.
But wait, it wouldn't be Dee from the challenge, would it?
Wait, what?
From Survivor. From Survivor.
Dee and Wendell allegedly hooked up behind their partners. Who's Dee's partner?
Is it Austin? Was Dee dating Austin? I need to know this because I know she's been very like hee about it, but it seems like they're dating because they're both like posting.
Guys, this is good tea. Oh my gosh! Wait, let me hear more. Oh my god, I need to find this.
Wow,
I haven't seen any of these tweets. I mean, Dee is gorgeous, and when I've met her a few times, obviously in New Orleans and in New Orleans, New York, and California, and like she definitely has an aura around her of like she was a nucleus. Like everybody gathered around
Mm.
D. D kind of was like where everybody followed around. So that's a very alluring, energy. Obviously, she's stunning. Um,
Hmm.
I'm just shocked though that
That's
Wendell would
confusing.
do that because like they do. He throws so many of those parties. Like it's just
Yeah.
boy. Oh boy.
And
Okay. Well,
Austin's
if you
been at
have
the
any more
parties with
information
both of
about that,
them.
please put in the chat. I
Huh. Anyway.
know.
All right. Well, that's more interesting
Well,
what's
I
going
mean,
on
I
in this
never.
episode.
I never really thought that Dee and Austin being like a Sagittarius. Wait, is she Sagittarius or Libra? She's either Libra or Sagittarius, and he's a Scorpio, and so like, I wouldn't put that together. I also wouldn't put her together with Wendell, who's a Pisces. So I'm like,
Ugh, I can't with Wendell. Sorry. As a player. As a player. I don't know him as a person. So
well, it's interesting because I mean, maybe he's just not into me, but like he never gave me any vibes like that at all. But actually, he was very nice to my sister.
Mm.
But she's really young though, so maybe he's just like playing like older brother, older uncle type vibe. But I'm like, you have Wendell's number? I don't even have Wendell's number, So
interesting.
I don't know if he has a number, but they would exchange for texting to know where the after party was. I was like, okay, okay, sure. So wow, I mean, I want to hear more about that. So hopefully we can get some more details. We can have like on our next pod, we can talk about what went down. Thanks for the tea, guys. So then in the winner's heat, Ed, Horacio, Berna, and Zara ended up pulling out the win here. I actually was hoping Michelle's team was going to win because I thought it was going to be a guys' day, even though I loosely saw that it might be Cara Maria, but I wasn't sure if they were just like pretending to tease that and then they'll give us like Brad.
I wish it would have been a guy's day, but yeah.
So now they're going to have 2 guys' days in a row, or are they just going to bring in CT and like just cut out Brad's day?
No, I think okay, this is my question because all these non-elimination episodes, how many guy versus girl do we have left at this point?
Well, I'm assuming that there's 2 more guys, like an extra guy.
There's got to be, and it also doesn't really matter because they're only going to do one winner in the end. So it doesn't really matter if they're exactly matched. I was thinking about that too.
Right. But like,
depending on what they're doing,
then it would potentially give like the guys more of an opportunity to, you know what I mean? Like if it's more guys going into the final, like they're more likely to win, I would say, than a female.
I mean, but if it's individual, it depends on how they structure
they're gonna do it the worst way possible, right?
That's yes. Yeah.
Like a guy's winning the season, and it's probably gonna be Jay, and we're gonna be barfing, right?
I don't think
the fact that we all want a woman to win, being Mariah or Raven, and now kind of Michelle, I guess. I don't know, but like it's gonna be. I think Horacio.
I think it could be Horacio. I think it could be Kyland. I think it could be.
Though they're showing all this content with Olivia and about Horacio because maybe he does get thrown in against CT, right?
We'll see.
It's gonna be 2 guys next, right? So what if Kyland and James are safe, right? I think Horacio would be the next person to be thrown in.
Yeah. I don't know though. I still would, based on the edit for next week's episode, I feel like Jay and CT are going against each other. I feel like that's what's happening. I'm not saying Jay's gonna lose. I'm just saying I think that's what's gonna happen.
If Jay beats CT again, I think I might have to take a pause on the season.
Yeah. Me too.
I mean, I will be.
We'll stop reviewing it and we'll just post like spoilers at the end.
I'll be really, really devastated, to be honest. All right, so Michelle, though, now is realizing that Zara has got 5 wins to her name now, and I think she had some solo ones, some pairs ones, some group ones. Like, she definitely has the most wins out of everyone. Actually, I think I took a picture of the tally of all the wins. And so Zara has 5 wins, Horacio has 4, Raven 4, Berna 3, Colleen 3, Corey 3, Emmanuel 3, Mariah 3, Asaf, the biggest mouth, has 2, James 2, Jay 2, and Kylan 2, and Ed has 1. And then, it's cut off. Michelle, up until that point, had 0, and then Olivia had 0. Over Daily, sorry, they both have 0 still. No, just wins. So, like, Michelle and Olivia are at the bottom here in terms of dailies, like, haven't won anything, which is interesting. But then TJ says nominate one woman. What, like, how whack was that?
Whack. And I'm sick of people not going home either. And I have a weird, I know that it's not rigged. We know this, but like, because then it would have been Laurel versus Michelle. But I'm like, I feel like they're doing something, like, it just seems weird to me that the champs aren't winning, like, in ways like, oh, one peg was off, and like, Cara suddenly can't even try to move any pieces for her puzzle at all. Like, I don't know. There's just certain things that have been happening that I'm like, what's going on here? Are they trying to balance things out? Are they trying to, like, there's going to be a purge in the next phase? Like, I'm not sure what's going on, but I don't know. I don't trust it.
I agree. We will speculate a little bit more in a second. So Emmanuel, Colleen, and Asaf are talking, and like, I know people are saying like Queen Colleen, she's so smart, but like, I just like hearing her now complain about her position in the game. It just annoys me because I'm just like, well, like, you're complaining too late. You allowed yourself to be complacent for too long, and now you're complaining about your position. It's like, you should have figured this out a while ago. It was very obvious, in my opinion, what was going on. And so the fact that she just allowed herself to get in a terrible position, is unfortunate. And this is because, the winning team ends up nominating Colleen. So Berna was trying hard to save Colleen. And also Berna is frustrating me too with the fact that she's like, well, I want to save somebody. Like, what? I won this too. Like, I put my work in to win this challenge. I want to save somebody. And it's like, sorry, you don't have the pull, Berna. You don't have it. You don't have it. Colleen obviously again is wanting to everybody say Mariah. Why do they say Mariah? And it's like, because Mariah's better insulated than you. Take that as a hint, a clue, Colleen. You're not in a good position. They won't say Mariah. They will say you. What does that mean? But she does want to start a new faction. She wants to start a new alliance, and she's starting to gather some members. So if she can do this, props to her. But it might be a little too late. And it seems like people are kind of humoring her a little bit.
Well, especially when you've got Asaf, who, like, for whatever reason, Colleen thinks that she's working with him. But like, and I get it that he thinks he's some mastermind, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, what? Think to yourself. Out of the guys, who has never been in even conversation to be put up? Think about that. Obviously, you know Jay. But when has Asaf been in the conversation to go in? And if he's working with you, and he's on the bottom with you and he's agreeing with you, then why is it that he's never been talked about? You have to have your pulse on what's going on. You don't need to be the most insulated necessarily, but you need to be aware of where people are situated. And because if she hadn't told Asaf what she was saying, like, yeah, she was going to go in regard, whatever, but like her telling him, he's telling everything to Jay and Michelle. And it's like, it seems so obvious. If you should be talking to everybody in the house. Like, why is Ed not really in conversation either, right? Oh, because they're using him right now. Oh, he's in the alliance, but like, maybe there's other conversations to be had with people who are very obviously not, like the Zaras and the Jameses and stuff, people who are more open to these discussions. Because Asaf and Ed are so clearly little sneaks. Like, it seems so clear. Like, watching it.
Like, Ed goes and tells Michelle about that Mauricio is coming for her. And like, they show the conversation and he didn't really say that. Like, it was, he gathered.
He's like, she kind of maybe like, meh. Like, also, can we talk about the fact that I literally forgot this episode that Emmanuel was still in the house, because he is getting zero, not zero, but he's getting such little screen time because he's not hooking up with anyone this exact moment.
Well, he's not. Probably, maybe he is, but they don't want to show it because he has his situation that it seems like he's being protected from.
Yeah, but like they still showed enough to show that he's cheating. So it's like, well, the damage has been done. But like he is that level of boring that he's not even being shown. Like what? Like I actually, to be honest, I liked Corey out of all the guys this episode, which is crazy. But that's how I feel.
Well, I wonder if Emmanuel got super quiet because he's realizing that he actually is on the bottom and like he doesn't want to, you know, upset the status quo here, and he doesn't really know where he stands, so he can't have like the confidence that he usually has because he's just like, I don't really know where I stand here. So Michelle don't think she's Queen Bee, and she is winning this season. Would they put that in there if she wasn't?
Yeah.
They would? Okay.
Yeah,
so
of course.
She might not win the season.
Of course. And honestly, like I do in a way hope that she's in the final.
That was
in a way, just because she can fully see what it's like. If Amy's probably going to be a weird one, but whatever. So, but I'm not rooting for her by any stretch, and I don't see her winning against any of the guys in the house, and like, and really not against Mariah, not against Nerys maybe, but I don't know, man. If she wins, hats off to her.
Jessica says I think they would put that in to embarrass her if she burns out. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Or it could be because you know,
yeah,
she does win, and it's just like her foreshadowing. All right, so Olivia is mad that Horacio is hanging out with Zara. Oh, wait, did I already talk about this? No. Oh, yeah. Again, she's mad again. We see Horacio with Zara. He has her back 100%. We see Colleen telling Jay and Corey about that about the house vote is likely to be Mariah or Raven. It's not going to be Mariah, girl, but she can pretend like that's going to be a thing. But she's mad that Mariah has others before her, and it's like, okay, stop being mad about it and do something about it. But it's not get out Mariah. Like she's not the person, as we already mentioned, that is your problem in this game at all. So Michelle said that she can only say Raven's name out of everybody that's left in the game. Like that's Michelle's usual position, where she can't say anybody's name at some point. So I want to see the next women's vote where what's going to happen to her, because like I want to see her hierarchy, you know. Mariah thinks that Colleen is sneaky. Well, she is. She's pretty sneaky. Raven is not going to self-nominate. She wants to hear people say her name. Has a reason to. Exactly. That's why we were so annoyed with Zara last week. We're like, let them say your name. Like, if you're going to go in, you're going to go in, but like, let them say your name so you know who you can target next. So Olivia feels okay. That's the whole dragging conversation that we talked about with Jay. We see Horacio, Kylan, and Nerys talking, and they don't think that Michelle holds him, Kylan, as a priority, which is true. She doesn't. And it's like when Kylan has clocked Michelle, and Michelle is just like that's not true. I haven't showed, like, she gets so flustered and defensive when people clock her. And yeah, that's part of what's not becoming, in my opinion. But Kylan is riding for Michelle because she's weak and he thinks he could beat her, which I thought was jokes.
That's funny. And like, yes, she has great certain skills. She is very good at puzzles. She does have decent endurance. I'm not saying she's like impossible to win a final, but it's just I don't see it. But I mean, who knows?
Raven, I liked Raven this episode.
Me too.
But
she does.
I'm starting to really like Raven.
Yeah.
She can come back. I'm into it because like she gets mad and she like does stuff.
She says the thing, like, yeah.
So Colleen is talking to Kylan, and Kylan says that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So he's kind of working Colleen a little bit, which I like. Asaf overhears them. He relays this information back to the group. And then we hear Colleen say that, like, well, Cara was an outsider, so maybe she's going to want to, you know, protect us outsiders that are going down in the sand. So that's when I was like, oh, I guess Cara is coming today. The fact,
But how do they all know? Like how last week they were like, oh, what if Laurel? I have a feeling Laurel's going to be there. Who is telling them this information? How? Because why would you think Cara?
Could it be that they just do speculation for all the champs, and then they just place it in, and then they just want to?
That that's true. They could talk about Cara. They could talk about
It's like, what do you think about? What if Cara is the one that comes in this episode, and then they just talk about like the what ifs of it all? And then they just use the one the appropriate episode.
And like realistically, it's like in terms of recent female winners, Jenny just never came back. And then who else is like a recent winner that isn't Tori?
Well, maybe from USA, right? So Desi or Sarah Lucina.
But maybe they weren't going in that direction, I guess. I don't know. But I was thinking about that. I was like, well, I guess there aren't it's not like there's a slew of them, and they use Casey, they use Tori, they use Laurel. And so you would think Cara,
I just too far back in the well where people have no idea.
Yeah, like we're not being like, oh, Evelyn, oh, like Veronica, like Rachel, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would die to see Rachel, but like,
of course, we're gonna see All-Stars.
We're gonna see her on All-Stars, so yeah.
So I was like, is Cara going to call Michelle on behalf of Laurel? Like, I'd be like, oh my God, that'd be so great. So we get the nominations. Colleen is mad. Raven is pissed. But everybody basically chooses Raven, except for Kylan says Mariah. Mariah was kind of irritated by that, but yeah. Whatever. Corey and Raven talk, and Corey kind of apologizes, says that, the champion have to have a social game and have to win. He's not really proud of the game that he's been playing, but he's kind of owning up to the fact that he's been playing like a soft, like backseat.
Yeah, I will say, like, I still, obviously he was a mess, and he's kind of is, especially on Twitter, but it's like, that level of awareness and speaking it out loud, being like, I acknowledge that I'm kind of playing a scared game and I'm just going with the numbers. At least he's being honest about it now. Absolutely. And at least he's being aware of it. Like,
well, when he says that, like, I don't cringe. So I feel like it's true, right? A lot of times when he says things, I cringe, I'm like, I'm not vibing with what you're saying here.
100%. And like Michelle and Jay are acting the opposite. They're pretending that they're not doing this or that. And it's like, you can acknowledge what you're doing, and then we'll like you more.
So we get to the arena, and TJ's like, what? No way. Like, come on, TJ, you know how this game is. When there's a big alliance, like, the same people are going to be thrown down all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you just relax, TJ. But he does say that this challenge champion is one of the best, 100% one of my favorite player, and an absolute savage. With her 14 challenges, 9 finals, 19 eliminations with 13 wins, Cara Maria runs out. And it was nice to see her, to be honest. I was happy to see her when she came out.
So happy.
And she brought the drama to the draw. Like, she brought the drama to the draw.
She was being hilarious. She was being so funny. And she wasn't scared at all. And I also saw, she wrote a comment after, like, because I was looking on her Instagram. Because, like, she obviously calls Michelle, like, oh, orange shirt.
Which obviously, because purple shirt.
Because the purple jacket, orange shirt. But apparently that was not something that was planned or discussed, and she had no idea about that. And she's like, so that's why when I watched back Laurel's episode, I was dying of laughter with Darrell, because they both just like were disrespecting her in the same way, and both being like, I'm not even going to say your name. They obviously know her name. She says, oh, Polly said this and this about Michelle.
Absolutely.
She obviously knows her name, and she's doing that on purpose, just like Laurel did. But they both didn't know that they were doing that.
I thought that Cara was told by Laurel, and that she was just like,
I assumed the same, but she claims she wasn't. And it's Cara. She would say if she was, you know what I mean? Like, oh, she was so perfect. It was hilarious.
So funny. So good. So good. So she talks about how the fact that, like, they talk about how none of the people up there that are available have been down there, and they both have been down there multiple times. Mm-hmm. And she just calls out Orange Shirt, being like, I want you guys to say a name. Who? And Michelle was doing her politicking as usual. And she's like, well, that's not an answer, so that's going to be you. And, like, Michelle was just, like, flailing. I loved how she just called out Michelle. And she was kind of saying that basically, what was her analogy? Like, they're like the B team, or like they're the knockoffs on the shelf.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Okay, so if I'm gonna play you this, I don't know if you saw this. Okay.
She had said calling us knockoffs and low budget. Yes. She called us low budget and was saving money for all the actual people that they want for season 40. Yes. She said, that's what, and then she, the iconic part was when she was like, TJ, have you guys done a lot of water challenges lately? And TJ's like, yes. We're all like, yeah, of course. TJ's like, yeah, they've been in the water all season. And she was like, oh, well, no wonder because I hear plastic floats, so they're probably doing really well. And I was like, and girl, why the fuck did I really think, during moment? I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, we're trying to save the plastic in the ocean. I swear to God, I was just like, that is so sweet. Berna's like, cares about the environment. I was like, Berna, about all of us. Girl, I was like, it wasn't until after that moment when we were all talking about it back at the house when they were like, no, they were just talking about our fake tits and asses and lips and fillers and da-da-da-da. But I'm like, oh, she was? I'm like, that's actually mad clever. No, it really was.
Hilarious.
I mean, she brought what she needed to bring, and she wasn't a sore loser about it. We see the elimination. So basically, she does choose the chaos pole, and she calls down Orange Shirt. And Michelle, what's her name? Sorry. Paulie told her that Michelle was a bit of a snake, and so she was gonna call her down. And so they're playing blockhead, where they had to flip these giant cubes over, and they have a 9-piece puzzle to solve. And how frustrating that Chaos Maria was not able to complete the pattern of a 9-piece puzzle. My 5-year-old niece and nephew could figure out a 9-piece puzzle. I was so frustrated. And
I was frustrated, but I was confused because it seemed like she wasn't even trying.
Yeah,
at the end,
like standing around there, like
she was fully like it, and everyone was helping Michelle and everything, and like whatever. Obviously, Michelle was taking way longer to get the pieces there. Cara was way ahead at the beginning, but she wasn't even trying to move stuff around, and it seemed like I understand that Cara's not good at puzzles. Okay, like I know,
mm-hmm.
But it seemed weird to me that she wasn't even like she was like, huh. Like she didn't seem to. I mean,
I did like when she put her block in the way of Michelle.
Yes.
Some time, I was like, oh man, just like pushing those over. She's like, oh yeah, I do this for CrossFit. This is like easy game. And Michelle's like so teeny and just trying to like push them over and having a lot of trouble.
But I also was curious because he said that there was two. Was each piece having two sides with potential options? Is that what it was?
I don't think so.
Because at first I was like, maybe it's because she has to flip some of them around or whatever.
Well, like, why didn't she just get on top of their box and look at what Michelle was doing?
Yeah, like, she could have tried to look at hers and copied it. I feel like she wasn't in that mode of like
winning,
not giving up, trying to win. And like obviously the stakes are lower for her.
Well, and it's kind of like that's what's really frustrating with these mercenaries is like some people are like saying that, oh, you guys are just upset because like your faves are not winning these arenas. But I'm like, but they should be coming in as like someone to be feared because they're going to be doing something they're good at. And if you can get through them, then like you are a badass. Now, I do think that this was a very challenging elimination with the weight of these blocks. And so I am giving Michelle props for moving those blocks and able to finish the 9-piece puzzle before ahead of Cara Maria. I do think that she should have lost, in my opinion. But like, I wish that we were seeing either an elimination that the champs had previously won, or even one that they had previously lost, and the other person has to come in and see if they can defeat them in something that they've done before. I think that would have been just a little more interesting, seeing kind of these carnival games or like even this puzzle. Like I just would have liked her to go be in her wheelhouse completely and see how people match up. It just would be, I think, more interesting and like not make the champs look like a flop. Like Laurel and Cara Maria both lost to these newbies. Like unless, to go with your point, maybe production wants them to lose to make it seem like season 39 has like
epic people, because when they're saying this storyline, they're saying we beat a champion, like blah blah blah, and like I'm not discounting the fact that she did it. Either of them, Raven or Michelle, did what they did, But it's just curious that like Laurel had everything, but one piece was off, and then Cara just kind of stopped. I'm not saying they told her to lose, but what if there was some sort of conversation about like, you know, we want to balance things out and like kind of thing. Like I don't know what was said. Obviously, like it is what it is. But it's kind of weird. Like I just want
of course we're upset.
go.
It's 3 weeks that we still are at 16. We want people to go. Yeah, we want
And
people
now
to
this
go.
just gives Michelle more cred, right? Like she has so much more cred now.
It is deserving cred.
You beat a 3-time champ. Like that's the tea. And
all I wrote down was like, wow, this puzzle is so easy. Cara Maria, like it's kind of embarrassing. Like, but what you do with puzzles is you just like make the sides match. Like you just have to work with what side would go here. Just like work one side at a time. And she would have to figure out the puzzle. Like anyways, I don't understand how she couldn't figure that one out, but I don't know. Sus. It's sus. It's giving Caitlyn.
But I will say, I remember
this puzzle was harder than this puzzle, I think.
Yeah, I remember with what was the one she won on her own? Vendettas? Was that the one where she won by herself?
Yeah, because they're in Germany, where she like it was a memorization thing though, not like a puzzle.
Yeah. But I even remember then being like, she's not gonna win, and she finally got it somehow. But she was against people like. But she was against like Zach and stuff. Like it wasn't like she was against any heavy hitters in terms of puzzle life or memorization things. But she's made it happen when it's counted. Not every time, but she also is just more authentic, even though like her accent, LOL, because like it's stronger than it used to be, which always makes me laugh. But she was entertaining. I was entertained.
Even though she didn't win. I would have preferred if she had won. But with the boys that I have the draft with, this is gonna hurt them because like they were just riding. Well, Chris was riding so hard for Cara Maria, and we drafted the champs as well. And so if a champ loses, then like, if the champ won, they would take half of the points of the person who they took out of the game. And so, but she lost, and I have Michelle, so I keep all of Michelle's points. So like I might end up like getting into the top spot. I'm in second place right now.
Nice.
So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was weird. I wish she had listened to the instructions that they were giving to Michelle. Maybe I wish she had tried more. I wish she had done more at the end, but she served for me still.
She served. It was nice to see her. She brought some drama to the episode. She brought some conversations outside of the episode. So she became literally relevant again. And so I'm here for it. I was happy with it, but I also thought it was hilarious that she lost for the fact that like some of these guys are like, Cara Maria's the best person on the planet. And like that she lost in a very simple 9-piece puzzle. So that's it for this episode. We do hear that the preview from the next episode, they say tonight's champion is a legacy of the challenge. So that sounds like CT, right?
So you think the last champ they're gonna have is Brad? They're gonna end with Brad?
Well, do you think that maybe they just like they will do Brad's elimination? Maybe he like lost and like they just don't show it.
But they showed it in the preview. They showed him in the preview.
I don't remember. But anyways, it's just,
or maybe.
Oh
my god,
double elimination, 2 guys.
Yes, let's do it. 2 guys.
2 guys.
Let's
gone.
Get him out.
2 guys gone. Well, thank you, Michelle. Even though you're under the weather, you still served with this recap. And I had to go and get a dinner reservation here in Cancun.
Yay! Have fun.
It was really nice to talk about this episode. I'm happy we could get it in. I'm looking forward to the next episode. So that's something that happened. I'm kind of excited to see how things shake out a little bit more now. So, yeah, what do you have going on? Anything?
Nothing crazy at the moment. Just trying to become a little bit healthier. It seems like everyone's sick these days. So yeah, just trying to rest and recharge. And I'm so excited for Trader season 2. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
No, it's not CT. So the legacy of the challenge is Brad. Hilarious. Okay.
I mean, Brad is an OG. Let's be real.
He's an OG. He had it.
He won Cutthroat.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's pretty much all that we have for you today. We should be live probably on Thursday or Friday next week for the next episode when I'm back in Toronto. So thanks for being here with us today. Please, if you haven't done so already, like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and leave us a comment. Like, what do you think? Did Cara Maria serve, or did it flop? Tell us your thoughts. Are you a Michelle stan now, or is it just like she's too much for you? Let us know all your thoughts, and we'll see you next week. Ciao, everybody.